What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Command and Console. Today is an impromptu video where I'm just going to be purging my PS2 collection. There's too many games in my collection at the moment that are just sitting there. I have no means to play them. I've picked them up because they were cheap. I've picked them up because someone suggested it, or you know, it's a game that you don't see very often in the wild. May not be worth anything, but you don't see it very often, or you just get some really odd titles in there that look cool that you want to pick up. I need to stop that. I need to become focused, and I need to really kind of think about, you know, sticking to that creative collection list that I made when I first started this channel, because I feel like I had more of a mission statement there. So we're going to go over to the table behind me. We're going to go through all my PS2 titles and we're going to purge a bunch of them. So join me over to the red table of doom. So we've got two categories. Obviously the keep category, purge category. We'll go there, and I've revised my list of games that I actually want. So I've added new games on here. I've taken games off that I don't actually care about when I've thought about it. Obviously all the ticks are the games that we've already got. There's some games I've ticked off that I don't have for some reason, like Sons of Liberty. I don't know why I took that off for. I don't have it. But this is the basic list of games that I'm looking to complete. Obviously there's some big hitters like Silent Hill on there that it's going to take a while to get, but that's my revised list. But anyway, let's get on to the actual purging. So the first game up is a game that I've recently got, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this. It's on the list. It's ticked off the list. That is Maximo. Great game. So that will go on the amongst the keep pile. This is not working out very well so far, but Hit and Run, Simpsons, game I got recently, definitely keeping that. It's not on the list, but it's a game that I'm definitely going to keep hold of. Another game that I recently picked up that's not on the list is True Crime Streets of LA. I do plan to get the other one as well, so this is a keeper. Next up is WRC2 Extreme. Recently got this from CX50p. Played it a little bit the other day. Didn't really care for it, if I'm honest. So that will be the first game in our purge pile. Next up is Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Got this from the charity shop because I never see PS2 games complete in a charity shop. I did give this a go. I do like this game. Like I said in the video when I showed this game off, I really enjoyed this one. I have played it since I got it, and basically it was mostly a nostalgia pickup really. So I don't feel like I want to keep this now. I've gave it a play. I actually enjoyed what I played of it, but I don't think I'll ever go back to it. So that will go on the purge pile. Next up is Midway Arcade Treasures 2, a recent pickup. Again, they're not on the list, but I do want to pick up these retro collections for the PS2, so that will go on the keep pile. Next up we have the first Midnight Arcade Treasures game. Again, it's the same as the other one. It's going to be on the keep pile because I do want to get these retro game collections in the collection for PS2. Next up we have Killzone. Not sure how I feel about this one because I do want to get the HD trilogy on PS3, and it has it in HD. So this might go on the purge pile. I picked it up solely to fill that void in a challenge that I made for myself. So it was just one of those little games that were cheap to fill out a challenge. But I do want to get the HD version, the HD collection on PS3. So this will also go in the purge pile. Next up is Unreal Tournament. I really enjoyed this one. This one was really fun. I do find it a bit boring playing against bots though. So I don't know how I feel about keeping this one. It might go on the purge pile. Extermination isn't a game that's on the list, but it's a game that I have nostalgia for, being one of the first like survival horrors on the PS2. I think it was a launch title or close to be a launch title in that launch window. Gonna keep that one because it's a fun little survival horror. Reservoir Dogs, another game I picked up just out of curiosity, and I don't think I'm ever going to put it on and play it. It was mostly a curious pick. It's been on the shelf ever since. I've never actually picked it out to play it, so that will go on the purge list. We got Juiced, definitely a game I'm keeping. It's on the list, it's ticked off. I love this game, one of my favourite racing games of this generation. Just awesome, I love it. I absolutely adore this one. That's going to be on the keep list. Next up we have Buster Move, Super Buster Move 2. This is my girlfriend's game, so this is definitely going to be a keeper. The only game she actually owns, funny enough, but hopefully she'll find more games to add to her own PS2 collection. This is in my collection at the moment because she hasn't really got any more games to call her own, so this is just hers, but yeah, that's going to be on the keep. Soul Reaver 2 is definitely a game on my list, and definitely a game that I'm keeping. I absolutely adore this one. The first game is great as well. Yeah, going to be on the keep pile. Driver 3, say what you want about Driver 3, but I remember actually really liking this regardless of the reviews back in the day. I'm not sure how it holds up now, I've not actually put it on to play, but I do have all the Driver games except for San Francisco, so this will be in the keep pile, just to have that little Driver collection, because I do like these games, they're quite fun for what they are. Next up is Red Faction 2, pretty fun little game, but a game I don't think I'm going to jump back into anytime soon. And I feel like you could get this really cheap on Steam or whatever, so that's going to go in the purge pile. Next up is a game called Shell Shock Nam 67. This game does not hold up at all. I think it's pretty terrible, all things considered. Going back to it, replaying it before this video to get a gist of games that whether I want to keep them or not. This game doesn't really hold up. It's by Guerrilla Games, which is quite interesting, but I don't know, I remember really enjoying this one back in the day and thought it was quite decent, but on a replay, I don't know, I just thought it's a bit jank and a bit uninteresting. So that's going to go on the purge pile. The Thing, definitely going to be on the keep pile. It's on my list, of course. Yeah, this is one of the most unique and most interesting survival horror games on the PS2 for me, and one of the better movie tie-in games. Definitely worth playing, guys, if you haven't. The Thing is really cool. It's got some cool like trust mechanics in there. You've got to make sure your team trusts you and stuff like that. It's really fun, it's really entertaining, and for some reason it's always your medic that becomes the thing. Bastards. Soldier of Fortune, definitely a keeper for me. It's on the list. I love this game. Obviously the PC version will be a lot more superior, but I think what we get on this PS2 port is well worth picking up. And I think it was only something like £1 or something, or £2. Definitely worth a pickup. Definitely keeping this one for the collection. Next up we've got Deus Ex. This is in super clean condition with the manual. This port is actually quite remarkable how they got this game to work on the PS2. Definitely going to keep this one just for the fact that it's a port that it's a miracle that it runs on the PS2, to be honest. That's Deus Ex, is going to be a keeper. Summoner, I've said in the past that I'm going to keep this game because it's not worth anything, but you know what? I'm not going to play it. It's not good. It's not good in 2024. It's terrible, to be fact. It's so slow, so kind of, you know, sleep-inducingly slow. That's going to go on the purge pile. Next up is Burnout. I'm not going to say anything. You know Burnout's going to be on the keep list, as is its sequels, Burnout 2, Burnout 3. Now this is going to get interesting. I thought I had this complete in box, because I don't usually buy games that aren't complete with manual. This has not got the manual, so this is going to go on the purge pile. I will be getting a black label version of this for the collection. This is where it gets interesting. So Terminator, Dawn of Fate. I don't know how I feel about these Terminator games, because I would like to have a little Terminator collection for the PS2, but am I going to play it? That's the question, guys. Am I going to play it? I don't think I am, you know. I don't think I am, so I'm going to put it in the purge section. Evergrace, I kind of want to get all these interesting From Software titles that people forgot exist, so this will be in the keep pile. SmackDown versus Raw. Even though I've got super nostalgia for it, I don't see myself going back to it, you know, since I first got this. I jumped on it, played a few matches, had a bit of fun. Don't think I'll play it again. It's great, it's nostalgic, of the, you know, people would say good era of wrestling games, but I don't think I'll play it again, if I'm honest, so they're going to go on the purge pile. Going back to the thing of Driver Parallel Lines. This is a pretty decent one. It goes more like GTA than the rest, really, but yeah, gonna keep it because I want all the Driver games in the collection. Definitely a game not on the list, but a game that I absolutely love. I still want to get the first game at some point. That's MDK2, complete with manual. Got this for a great price as well. Keeping that for the collection. Mercenaries, a fun little game for like 5 minutes, in my opinion. You know, dropping nukes on buildings, destroying shit everywhere. It's fun for a little 5-minute run through, but aside from that, I don't think it's anything special, unfortunately, so that's going to go in the purge pile. Next up we have Getaway, a game that I kind of want to keep for the collection because I've got super nostalgia for this game, being that it recreates London in its entirety. In some respect, like it's not one-to-one or anything like that, but it does a great job to kind of recreate early 2000s London. It's complete with the map as well. Really happy about that. Gonna keep this one. I've heard it doesn't really hold up very well. I've not actually replayed it for this video yet, but I just want to keep it because it's a game that I remember. I'm going to get the sequel as well, so that's going to be a keeper. Next up, 007 Nightfire. I'm going to keep all my 007 games. I think I do like having those selection of games, and I think this PS2 era of Bond games is very underrated. Nightfire is probably one of the best. Everything on Nothing is probably my favourite. Agent Under Fire is super underrated. Yeah, going to keep my 007 games. Need for Speed. Need for Speed Underground, definitely keeping this one. I adore these series of games. 1 and 2 is great. Spyro, Enter the Dragonfly. Not sure if I want to keep this one, you know. I think it was in pretty poor condition. I got it in a bundle. That's not too bad. I might purge that one. Next up we have Tomb Raider Legends. I've got this on 360. I only bought this for the slip, so this is an instant purge. Instant purge, because I only bought it because I like the slip cover. Because I'm impulsive like that, I guess, guys. So yeah, that's going to be on the purge pile. Run Like Hell is a game that I know is terrible, probably is terrible, but I've got some kind of nostalgia for it, so I might actually keep this. I might actually try and give it a play as well, so I'm going to keep that one for the collection. Toric Evolution, I think this game is woefully underrated, criminally underrated, and yeah, I'm going to keep this one. I do enjoy this one from time to time. It's a fun little run through, dinosaur hunting and killing fucking cyborg people. It's pretty fun. That's going to be a keeper. Headhunter Redemption, a really underrated third-person action shooter. Really like this one. I like the first one as well. I don't have the first one yet though, but this sequel's really cool. It's got very Metal Gear-esque elements to it that I quite enjoy. The shooting's really entertaining, and it's just a fun little kind of like a semi-open world game. You drive around, you do things, you kill bosses, you do missions. It's quite fun. It's a fun little one. I'm going to keep that one. Dead Alive 2. I've got loads of nostalgia for Dead Alive 2, but I've got nostalgia for the Dreamcast version, so I might put this on the purge pile. I've heard this version isn't very good, and from what I've heard, you can get Dead Alive Ultimate on the original Xbox. That is much better than this port, so I might just put that on the purge. Rayman 3. Again, it's one of those games where I picked it up because I've never played a 3D Rayman game before, and I played a little bit of it and it's fine. Not a game I really would go back to though, so that's going to be on the purge pile. We've got Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, definitely a game I'm keeping. I do want to get all the Budokai games, preferably 1, 2 and this one. I'm not really that bothered about the Tenkaichi games, but these 3 Budokai games I definitely want. So that's Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. It's going to go in the purge. No, it's going to go in the keeper. Bloody hell, sorry guys, I've gone mad there. We've got Zone of the Enders. I do like this game. I think the sequel's a bit better, but the sequel's got quite a high price point now. This is going to be in the keeper. It's on the list. I'm a bit upset I don't have the Metal Gear Solid demo, because I do want to have it complete with the demo. But that is that. I guess it is what it is. Zone of the Enders is going to be a keeper. Next up is Def Jam and Vendetta. This game is fantastic. Keeping this one. I do want Fight for New York, but that game is quite expensive now. This one will do. It's a great wrestling game on the Aki engine. Really cool. I love this one. Keeping that. Spartan Total Warrior. This game is fine for what it is. It's kind of like just a bombastic hack and slash game. Probably gonna go in the purge pile if I'm honest. I got it in the charity shop for really cheap, so I'm not too bothered about losing whatever money on it. Yeah, that's gonna go in the purge pile. Primal, one of the most underrated Sony published games in my opinion. I think this game is fantastic. It still holds up today as well. I think there was like a HD port that came out on PS4 that I think I've got that still makes it hold up. It's really fun. You can transform into different monsters, and it's just really fun. It's a really fun game, guys. If you haven't played Primal, check it out. That's going to be on my keeper. Splinter Cell. This game is something that I do like, but I don't think I ever want to go back to it ever, you know, that much, if ever. I do prefer the latter games, if I'm honest, like Pandora's Tomorrow, Splinter Cell Conviction, those kind of games. But the first game's fine. Gonna go on the purge pile because I'm not that bothered about it too much. Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny. you know how much, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know how much I adore these Onimusha games. And yeah, this is going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be a keeper. It's on my list as well. That's Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny. Then we've got the first Onimusha Warlords. Yeah, like I say, it's going to be a keeper. It's going to go in the pile. Next up is one of my favourite, if not my favourite fighting game of all time, Soul Calibur 2. You know what it's going to be, guys. It's going to be a keeper for me. I actually adore that game. It's fantastic. Next up is Time Splitters. Definitely going to be a keeper as well. I do want to get the other games, Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters Future Perfect. What a great trilogy of FPS games. Some of the best in my opinion, especially for this generation. Absolutely fantastic. Now I've got these two the Tasmanian Tiger games. I did chuck the first one on. I thought it was pretty fun, all things considered. But I don't see myself jumping on these games again, if I'm honest. I think there is a HD remaster that came out for the first game, so I might just hunt that down and play that version. So these are going to go on the purge pile. Then we've got Tenchu Wrath of Heaven. Yeah, game on my list. I love the Tenchu series, so this is definitely going to be a keeper. It's going to bring these forward a bit easier. 13. I do have the remake on the PS5. Or did I sell it? I can't remember. Yeah, really fun kind of comic book style, first person shooter, very comic booky. I do like it. I don't think I'll ever play it again, so it's going to go in the purge pile. Like I said, Age Under Fire is so underrated. What a fun little Bond game this is. It's going to go in the keep pile. Again, another Bond game, and it's going to go in the keep pile. It just has to. It's probably my favourite Bond game of all time. Everything or Nothing. Summoner 2. It's not too bad. It's okay, but you know, I don't think I'll play it again. So that would be going in the purge pile. Sonic Gems collections. I do want to get like these collection, like I said, these retro game collections on PS2, and this one is a great one. So this is going to be kept in the collection. And then we've got Need for Speed Underground 2, one of my favourite racing games of all time. Absolutely fantastic. Going to keep that for the collection. Next up we've got Gun. Really fun Western game, but I probably won't play this again. I'm probably going to upgrade it to the 360 version if anything. So that will go on the purge pile. The Godfather, really fun game. Not too bad, to be honest. I do like the sequel as well. It's really fun. But to be honest, I might upgrade myself to the Wii version of this and put this on the purge pile. Another game that is pretty terrible, but I got nostalgia for, but I don't think I'm going to jump on this anytime soon and play it, so it's going to go in the purge pile. Red Faction, a game that I do really like. I do have it on Steam, so I don't think I'm going to boot up the PS2 version anytime soon, so that will go in the purge pile. Hitman Blood Money, again, it's another purge game for me, I think, because I think I'm going to look to get the HD collection on PS2 for the Hitman game, so that will go in the purge pile. We've got Extreme G3, one of my favourite kind of like combat racing series. Definitely a keeper. Love this game. It's going to go on the keep pile. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, one of my favourite isometric RPGs for the PS2. It's on my list. It's going to be a keeper, isn't it? It's a fantastic game. Next up we have Eternal Ring. Again, it's another one of those From Software oddities. But this one I'm not too bothered about keeping. I tried to play it a little while ago, and it's really not for me. It's really jank and really kind of like archaic in its design. And yeah, I don't really care about it, so that's going to go in the purge pile. Then we've got another purge game, I think, Guitar Hero. I got this in the charity shop because it was cheap. I'm never going to play it, so that's going to go in the purge pile. Next up, I've got the Warriors. It's on the list. I love this game. It's one of Rockstar's best games that people have forgotten was a Rockstar game. That's going to be in the keep pile. Next up we have Ghost Rider, a really kind of interesting Devil May Cry clone that I thought was not too bad for a licensed title, but I'm not going to play it again. It's going to go in the purge pile. SOCOM, this was just to fill up another challenge that I did for PS2. It was 50p. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to like play it again even. It's not going to be. It's just going to be a shelf filler. So it's going to be another purge title. We've got Half-Life, another interesting port that actually shouldn't be as good as it is, but it is pretty good. Fun fact, this has the HD model pack in it, so it's one of those ports that it kind of introduces new models and stuff. Really good port for the PS2. It's amazing how they got it to work, so that's a keeper. That's on the list as well, Half-Life. Mark of Cree, a super underrated game. No one talks about it, no one even brings it up. It's a really, really underrated Sony published title. Mark of Cree is great. That's a keeper. Black, what more can I say, guys? It's one of the best looking games on the PS2 in my opinion. One of the most bombastic shooters on PS2. It's a keeper. Next up we have Resident Evil Code Veronica X. I do want to keep it, but I also kind of would rather have the black label. So this might go on the Purge, just so I can maybe get the black label in future. Next up we have Cold Fear. It's a game on my list, so it's going to be a keeper. I love this game. It's fantastic. It's on a boat and it's like really, really, really scary. And it's really brutal and it's really violent. And it's just so much fun. Love it. It's a great Ubisoft survival horror. If you haven't played it, go and check it out. Cold Fear is great. It's going to go on the keep pile. Speaking of a great game from this generation, Old Winter is one of my favourite FPS games from this generation. It is absolutely fantastic. I love it. That's Cold Winter. It's a keeper, of course. It's on the keep pile. Next up we have Terminator Redemption. A pretty decent licensed game for Terminator, but I don't think I'll ever play it again. It's just going to be a shelf filler, unfortunately, so it will have to go on the Purge pile. Sorry, Arnie. And the final game for this video, for the Purge, is the Space Invaders Anniversary Collection. Again, this is one of those games where, do I want to keep it because it's sort of like a retro game on modern consoles? I'm not actually that bothered about keeping this one. It's not really a collection as such. It's more of like a celebration of Space Invaders. And I tried to play it, and I suck at this game, and I just wasn't having fun with it, if I'm honest. So that might have to go on the Purge pile. So that is my PS2 collection purged. I do really feel like I went a bit overboard with the collection. I think I started this whole channel with a mission of these created collection lists, and I feel like I need to go back to that and be more focused on what I pick up, be more selective, not just pick up any old stuff because I think it looked cool. I need to be more focused on making sure I'm building this collection based on titles that I grew up with, that I've got nostalgia for, that I want to play again. That is the main thing. And a lot of these games are just there, just I've picked them up because they were cheap or to fill out a challenge, or I've fallen down a rabbit hole with the collecting. And I think a lot of people can relate to this because I feel like it's a thing that you start off with an idea of collecting certain titles, then it becomes an addiction and you get crazy into it. That's what's happened to me, and I feel like I need to pull myself back from that and actually really kind of hunt down those titles and have fun hunting down the titles I really want to have in the collection. So let me know what you think about this video and any of your comments on it. Have you had this problem where you've got loads of titles in your collection that you technically just won't play, it's just on the shelf for the sake of it? I understand there's people that want to do full set collections of certain machines. That's perfectly cool, but for me it's all about having games I will go back and play and have a somewhat of a memory triggered from that title. So I had to purge a bunch of this. A good half of my collection has been purged, which I'm happy about. I'm sticking to games that I want to play and keep in the collection and have nostalgic, sentimental value for me. And yeah, I do have similar videos like this coming up for 360 as well. I went a bit overboard with that console as well in the collection. I'm going to be revising that list as well for games I want on that machine. So yeah, look forward to those videos. Let me know if you like these kind of like just impromptu videos where I'm just like, you know what, I need to have a bit of a rethink on this collection, purge a bit of the titles out of it, and have a collection that I can look back and go, yeah, I built a great collection for me. Let me know any and all of your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, let's continue to build a proper curated collection.